Hello and welcome to 15 Minute Gamer. My name is Tony and this is a review video for a game called Gravel. It is out now on PlayStation 4, PC and Xbox One for the grand total of $29.99, making it a budget game. So before we start, let's head over to the Steam store page and have a look at what it says. Gravel is the ultimate off-road experience, the most extreme racing game that will let you try out amazing stunts in the wildest places on the planet. So Gravel is I would say, an arcade racer, and even though it does price its point a little bit towards the budget end, it keeps up with the big boys in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, there is telltale signs in some parts that this is a budget title. So, yeah, when I say arcade, it has sim elements in it, so it is simulation in some ways. Like, you can change the car setup quite a bit, which I was very surprised about. Like, everything you'd expect to see in a sim racer for changing your car, setting it up, is in here. Do you have to use it? Nah, not really. Can you use it? Yeah, of course you can. I mean, this is where I all struggle with sim games. I don't know if I change the brake bias to left 1% and then the dampeners to 5%, what difference that's going to make. I have no idea. So this arcade game does really appeal to me, but it's also not that arcadey that you sit there going, it's not offering much of a challenge. It's a bit unrealistic. It's not that way inclined, you know. It's not a Sega Rally. It's not a rally sport type game. It isn't a dirt game. It's certainly not Need for Speed. It sits in the middle where there's not many of these type of games exist. Like, they all seem to go one or the other. And to me, arcade games are always a little bit too, it sounds weird, arcadey for me. I don't find them interesting enough to keep me going, because I do like my motorsport and I like my racing, but sim games are too serious and too hard for me because I haven't got the time to dedicate to them. I haven't got time like Project Cars 2. I couldn't even do a track half the time. Like, I progressed so slowly and I just got fed up and left it. Same as Dirt as well. I enjoy and I like the rally aspect, but I get bored too easy because it's just too... I'm falling off things, crashing into things constantly. I've got to set my car up for the track, and I just can't do it. So this game for me sits absolutely perfect. And if you're a type of person like me who likes your arcade racing, but also you can change a few things, this is going to be the perfect game for you. So that's where it sits. It sits in the middle of that arcade simulation mix. So let's talk about some of the good things this game does right. So yeah, the arcade sim mix is perfect for me. The tracks are really well designed. Some of the inner stadium ones, like now, aren't the greatest, but some of the open air ones where you're flying around deserts and jungles and, you know, doing 100 odd miles an hour flying down a desert hill are just fantastic and so much fun. One of the biggest things this game gets right is the lighting effects. The lighting effects on it are fantastic. The way the light bounces off your car and in the puddles and reflects off your roof and in the dark levels, it just looks incredible. I think that's where most of the budget went. I think they were like, we need the best lighting model in the world. And when you've got your headlights on and you're flying around somewhere, it just looks incredible. In fact, in a bit, when I talk about graphics a bit more, we do have some footage of that. So yeah, it gets that absolutely perfect too. Also, just while we're talking on the model side of things, the handling is really good as well. They've really worked well on the handling. The handling's that perfect mix between, oh my god, I'm going to crash, and my god, I done the best corner ever there, as you feel like Colin McRae as you skid around the circuit. It's just that you can get it wrong, and you will get it wrong, but also you can even pull off just looking amazing as well. It just has that perfect mix of handling. So this is some of the lighting effects here. It's like kind of a half nighttime session. You can see the light. But this also shows off for me some of the bad points regarding the graphics and lighting and stuff, and the physics as well. I just put this in here just to talk about some of them sort of things. So it is a budget title, and one place where it shows for me is the car models. They're not quite right and they look very undetailed in parts. And also, if you look now, you can see the cars kind of phasing in and out of the ground. And I've seen this quite a lot. the poly on the back of the car, like sometimes you can't even read the text, it's that blurry. In physics like that, you can see again, physics are a little bit off as well. And this is where it does show its low budgetness, and you kind of like, yeah, this is where it drops on the dirt and the, you know, the old Colin McRae games and stuff like that, where the physics is just a little bit off. So yeah, you can see the car, the shadow keeps disappearing, the shadow keeps going. There's some bad pop-ins as well, especially when you're on the outdoor tracks. The graphics just sort of kind of shadows just pop in as you go. Trees will just form in front of you. And this is for me where it just lets itself down just that little bit. And it's a bit of a shame because they've got the lighting effects absolutely spot on. But I think if they just spent a little bit more time making the cars look a little bit better, I think it would have been a good thing. And also talking about the cars, there is a lot of them. Like there is a fair number of cars in this game, and some real classics as well. Like here I'm in the Impreza. There's old Fords, there's trucks, there's buggies, there's Porsches, there's Minis, there's VW Beetles, and they're all there. Like the amount of cars on there are really good, but there's a lack of customization. For each car you can unlock 3 or 4 liveries as you kind of go up the ranks, but the liveries usually aren't that good. They're not covered in sponsors and adverts, they're kind of just more colours, and you can't customise. Like you can't put your name on the window, you can't put your flag on, you can't put your name on the license plate or anything. And again, it's just that level where from a game now I kind of expect that little bit of level of customization on my car to really feel like it's me driving it. And also when you're against other people, you might see them names, you know, they're just names above the car. I want to see them cars customized and be able to change little things on it. I don't mind if I can't do the livery, but even if it's just maybe a few more colours, a few more options, even to remove the livery and just have a blank car maybe, just little things like that I kind of expect in these sort of games these days. So even though that might all sound a little bit bad, it's not. It's a budget title, and you know, the lighting effects, and to be fair, you're too busy racing, the scenery is generally pretty well done. So even though it's things that kind of I notice and stuff like that, it's not something that should put you off buying this game. So let's talk about some of the other things as well. So you know, I quite like the amount of race modes in here as well. So there's point-to-point racing, there's checkpoint racing, there's proper races, there's head-to-head races going on, there's time trial type races, there's ones where you've got to like smash through these things on, it's almost like a pinball machine. Like you got to go through the arrow, and if you go through the arrow you get to go through. If you go through the cross it kind of slows you down. And there's also special events to do against like champions of this sort of world. So yeah, there's lots of things to do there as well. So yeah, I quite like that. Also, the AI is pretty challenging. Like, also on a lot of racing games, I do struggle because easy mode's always too easy and I'm winning by 20, 30, 40 seconds. I put into medium mode and all of a sudden you're losing by 20, 30 seconds and you can't keep up. And I always struggle on racing games with that, and this gets the balance perfect. I've never won a race by miles and miles and miles, but I have lost races. But when I've lost, it's all been my fault I've lost. I've crashed or taken that corner badly or whatever. So yeah, I think the AI is challenging on there. So as you can see, now we're racing through the desert, and the sensor speed on this game is just brilliant. It does give you a real good sense of how fast you're going, and you really feel on the edge at all time. The tracks also have some sort of terrain destruction on as well. So if you're doing this sort of race here, say in the desert, if you're doing say a 5 lap and you keep going round and round and round, the sand or the dirt or the snow will pile up where the tyre tracks are, and you'll find it harder to go around the corner if you don't sit in them tracks. I've not noticed it made a huge difference, but I have heard people say, you know, later in the game, I'm about 6 hours in, pretty far through it, that it can affect it. So there's deserts, there's forest, there's snow, there's jungles. As you can see, there's big puddles to go through, rivers to go through. There's a massive degree of variation as well on the tracks and what they involve. You'll be racing around the sand, then you'll hit some roads, and it does it all very well. And also it has the rewind feature as well, which I love in these sort of games. Again, I lose concentration so easy. I get distracted. I'm like, squirrel, squirrel. So I crash a lot. So the rewind function is there. There's no way to turn it off. So I think that should maybe be an option that you can maybe turn that option off, because I know some people don't like it, and also it does tempt you a lot of times. Instead of trying to fight back, it's like rewind, and you rewind back. So yeah, the rewind function is pretty good. The only downside on it is that it's sometimes a little bit too short, because sometimes the accents or the checkpoint thing comes a bit late, and you rewind it back, and it rewinds you back almost to the exact place where you screwed anyway. However, for using the rewind, there's no penalty as such, but you will lose any points you've accrued. So you get points for like driving fast or skidding or tailgating, you know, or jumping, the usual stuff. And if you rewind when that's on the screen, you will lose them points. So yeah. So as you can see here, I'm just involved in Desert Race, and we're going to talk about some of the negatives again on it. Because with this game, it's one of them games where every time there's a positive, I kind of find a negative about it as well. So the AI, even though it's good and challenging, I find it also unfair when you're in a one-to-one with it. So say what will be happening is you'll be coming up behind a car and trying to overtake, and you'll nudge it, and the computer player is kind of like, nah, I'm not moving. And you push him, and you'll find his way back onto the circuit instantly and perfectly. Like, you can control any skid. But if they push into you, you're off. You're flying into walls. You're going around, and that's one bad thing. I'm just showing you on screen here. This is the point system, so your point system goes up. And this leads me to one of the other negatives, which is the loading times. The loading times are so slow. It takes ages. You have a bit of a loading time to load into the loading time almost, and I think that needs improved as well. We also have music, which is quite repetitive. Like, I know the menu music off by heart now, and also repetitive commentary as well. So the guy who's commentating will kind of say the same things over again, like, "Ooh, isn't it hot in Florida and blah." And it's supposed to be like a Gravel TV station, but I never felt like it was an actual TV station, or it wasn't presented very well. And I think, again, that's one of the things that does show off as a bit of a budget. And the guy talking as well is a little bit annoying as well. The damage model when you're driving is alright. Before we talk about this is a car selection. So you can see here we've got a selection of cars which you can unlock as you go through. And then when you select a car, you can see the horse, you get 4 liveries. And that's how the cars work on here. Again, I would like to see a little bit more on that. And then there's the options where you can change the race distance and difficulty and set your car up. And I'm going to just leave the loading time on here while it's going. You can see it's just loading now. Then it goes into another loading screen. So yeah, damage model. It doesn't seem to have any impact on the driving unless if you really damage your car. But the damage model is there. I just think, again, it's a little bit lacking in its feedback. But again, that is the arcade sort of thing as well. There's also a bit of a lack of feedback on what the race type is. This would be the perfect place. I'm not still understand, by the way. This is the load times. And now it loads again. It kind of just says, right, here's what you're doing. So speed cross, but doesn't explain what speed cross is. It does on the previous screen in little writing. I'd prefer if maybe on this loading screen to give you something to read. It went, oh, by the way, speed cross is this. This is what you need to do. See, there's the rules there. Can you see it beside the leaderboard? I would maybe like on that loading screen so it gives you something to read and look at while the long loading screens are on. Let's see. I've wrote all these down. And yes, that is about for the actual game itself. I would say that sums up the pros and cons of it as well. So let's talk a bit about the campaign and different modes. So you've got a campaign type thing on the game where you can see the light in there, how good it looks in the puddles. It looks really good. So you start off, there's 15 seasons, they're called, or specials or episodes. So it's like Gravel TV. So we'll be back next week with a new episode sort of thing. And you go through these 15 episodes, and there's also 4 or 5 special events which are against these. I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're real or fake. But you have to like race them in the special events. So they're just on the same tracks, and you kind of just race them. I would like to be a bit more panache here, and maybe when you beat them, you go and get the car, or like, because they use real videos of these guys, and I'd like to see them maybe talk a bit more and interact with you when they're driving. I think that would be really good. But again, down to the budget side of things, they don't interact with you. And yeah, you're racing them, but you could be racing anyone. All it is, they've got special livery on the car or special design. You don't win their car, I don't think. You might do, but I also find the feedback when you win is a little bit lacking. Sometimes I like to see a bit more panache, like a bit more, you've won this, but it's just like a little thing at the bottom of the corner saying you've unlocked a new livery or stuff like that. I like to see that being a bit more in your face, almost, just so I knew what I was winning. Campaign, it's adequate, and it does that. It doesn't do the thing which I sometimes find in these racing games where you start off in like a go-kart that does 10 miles an hour. No, you're just straight in with the cars, and I think that's a really good thing that it doesn't hang back. There's also free drive, there's multiplayer, there's weekly challenge events as well, which will ask you to get the best time and that sort of thing. So there's a lot to keep you busy in this game. So, in overall summing up, what do I think of this game? I like it. I think it sits perfectly in that, I said earlier, that arcade sim type mix. I don't give my games reviews a score because I think scores are irrelevant. Just this is all the information that I think about this game. And I know that seems like a lot of cons. There's also a lot of positives as well. And for a budget title, you can have a lot of fun. It's one of them games you can pick up and play, have an absolute blast on it, and then put it down again, and you'll be happy to come back to it again and again and again. And that's, that is just what a good game is sometimes. So yeah, I wouldn't overlook this game. If you like what you see, I've shown you videos of different racing, the cars, different handling. I've explained as much as I can. It's kind of up to you, but for me, I quite enjoy this game and I quite like it. So thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, just remember to drop me a like, drop me a subscribe, comment below if you played this game, and I will catch you all later. Goodbye.